Hello, and welcome to Smart Construction Day 2022. My name is Amy Marks, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the convergence of construction and technology trends. I'm going to be speaking to you about the convergence customer and their business needs. I'm the Vice President of Industrialized Construction. Some like to call me the Queen of Prefab. I just want to make sure that you've all read our Safe Harbor statement. A little bit about me. I'm the Vice President of Industrialized Construction, and I've been working in this space for many years and an alumna of the Harvard Business School as well as the University of Florida. I'm the ambassador of one of the largest shows on prefabrication in the world called Advancing Prefabrication, and I've worked in many different companies, working with some of the largest companies around the world on the convergence of design, construction, and manufacturing, including the Singapore government. I'm being one of their panel of experts for construction productivity on DFMA and industrialized construction. So I want you to imagine a world where design, make, and operation information data is granular, it's open and accessible, where you could collaborate in concurrency rather than in a linear format, where you had access to the data, really the right data, and it was seamless, where that data was reusable and you could improve that data and it was informing you in real time. And that data evolved with the life cycle of the building or the product that you were working on. And then you had a modern, connected, and insightful design environment for all of the AEC professionals and stakeholders that were working with you all the time. Are you really ready for that change? There's actually a formula for change. This formula was made by Dan Miller, and it's change equals dissatisfaction. You have to first be unhappy with the way things are now. Either you are unhappy with the way things are, or you have aspirations and you're unhappy and you want to get to that next place. You have to have a vision for what's possible. And hopefully I can show you a little of that vision today. You then have to have first concrete steps of action. You need to know what to do next. And that all has to be greater than resistance. And a lot of that resistance will come internally from sometimes your own companies, but also resistance externally in the environments in which you work. But that formula, change equals D times V times F, has to be greater than that resistance. So let's talk about that word convergence. It's the blending of what used to be previously separate technologies and processes, that data that now creates new combinations of products and services and experiences that reshape whole industries and structures. So convergence is about technologies that, this used to be just my phone, but now it's my phone, it's my map, it might be my babysitter. It's not just my phone anymore. It's about the convergence of different processes. So what used to be just design might now be design and build. It might be design with the understanding of carbon and embodied carbon. So it's the combination of different processes that are now blending into one. It's the convergence and melding of whole industries, which is why my title is Industrialized Construction, which is the convergence of manufacturing, construction, and design. So whole industries are coming together, which means business models are changing and they're combining together. And that's where a lot of the change is really happening for all of you and for many of the large owners and the governments that are actually changing the way in which they do work. Because when business models change, we have to think about the ways in which humans and machines are now interacting to do that work, because that's really changing. And it changes the way we think about sustainability and how that's impacting the way that we want to do the work and the result of the work and how that's going to impact our world. So let's do a little bit of a quick recap for those of you who may be new to this conversation. The dynamics are changing, and McKinsey did a report in June of 2020, right as the pandemic hit. And they talked about pretty much over the next decade and a half, that almost half of the $14 trillion in value of the design and construction world is going to shift towards industrialized construction. And why is that going to happen? Well, almost 66% of the people that took the survey thought that the market characteristics and the emerging disruptions that were happening are pointing towards industrialization, those manufacturing techniques applying to construction, and the digitization of product and process in the design and construction space were making the highest impact. In fact, they said over the next 1 to 3 years, which is about now, that a product-based approach would have the highest impact of anything in the study on what would actually push us over that 45% mark of industrialized construction in the next decade. So things have already changed, and they will continue to change in this world on how the way in which we're going to be executing on all of the value in design and construction in our space. But we have to take a look at what has been plaguing our ecosystem for many years and why BIM and smart construction can really help solve that. So we really know that assumption-based design has been the source of uncertainty. And we want to make sure that although building information modeling is very important, we have to stop that iterative process to make sure that you are connecting the building information modeling tools to the information of the makers to make sure that the I in the building information modeling process is informed by intelligent design. It's a real opportunity to connect how tools will enable new capabilities and allow processes to work at scale to enable more sustainable practices and more smart construction to allow for automation and robotics. That's the real opportunity now, so that we're not beholden to assumption-based design. And that means business models are changing for all of you. We know that industrialized construction has certain technology and process enablers as we're shifting into this new world. And we're in a highly instrumented world of things that have IoT sensors and machine learning and AI that we can apply to many of the products and processes that are in our space. That's giving us a lot of data and analytics that we can sort through and look through and understand in a different way. And many of our products at Autodesk, if you went to Autodesk University, have moved to the cloud in an open platform. And you'll see if you are learning more about Fusion, Forma, and Flow and the Autodesk platform services, that we're moving our products to the cloud in an open platform so that the data can actually move across those information models to give you better data and analytics in the future state, so that as things are instrumented, we can actually have more understanding about what's actually moving across the life cycle of these products and the performance of these products. So that in the process enablers, we can actually have more predictive manufacturing tools, and that really you can have building information modeling, which is happening at more and more higher state in your country, but that you can take manufacturing information and inform your BIM models with what things can be made. Because ultimately, we want to understand not just design for manufacturing and assembly, but the data that is moving that to the next level of understanding. Because we want to move up in the house of industrialized construction to not just prefabrication of products, but true manufactured products, from advanced building products to single trade assemblies, multi-trade assemblies, and volumetric modules. Again, there's not a hierarchy, but we want to use everything in our toolkit across these physical products. And we want things to actually be real products that we can reuse and understand the data associated with each of those, so that we can understand things like digital twins and how these products are performing over time and the data associated with them, so that we can apply advanced building methodologies that you see there, like robotics and automation, to those products as we make things, and additive manufacturing and things like 3D printing, so we can use the most efficient advanced methodologies to make the products that are going into these buildings, and sometimes the buildings themselves. So that's the house that industrialized construction has built, with process enablers and technology enablers, as well as the physical piece parts and the advanced building methodologies that we've taken from manufacturing for the future state. And many of our customers, because of that, are changing. And what has been previously a siloed focused customer Our customers are looking more vertically integrated, as many of you know in your region, that a customer may have many of these capabilities now within their own business models. And so you're seeing many different types of customers now. We had architects and engineers that are moving much more towards a generative designer. They want to use more tools in their practice, taking their domain expertise, building digital products that they're using on the Autodesk platform to really productively use those digital tools in their work, to automate things, to use generative tools to pick the right combination of products. We have contractors that are looking more like systems integrators, understanding the right combination of products and how to accelerate their incorporating them in situ on site. We have a lot of building product manufacturers that want to put combination of products to inform the designers up front for things like carbon analysis and the right combination of products that can actually hit the right performance requirements, that want to move to the front of the process instead of far downstream. And we have many big owners, including our government owners, that want to understand the data so that they can use the right combination of products for the best outcomes and own the data so that they can understand things like digital twins, so that they can really have the most productive builds that are capable for things like reuse and for a life cycle of carbon, to understand the best use cases. So for buildings they're owning over a long period of time. And that's why the data is so important, right? We know that data is going to be so important because we went from job sites that looked like this to more factories that are providing products on job sites that look more like those products on the right. And there is a difference even between prefabrication and products like that generator that you're seeing there on the right. And why is this happening now? And this is a pharmaceutical building that is mostly made by products that we are understanding before the design. And many of our leading AEC companies, this is some numbers from the United States, are defining themselves as these types of convergence customers that are thinking in terms of creating products instead of just understanding construction or design as a process. So they want to have reusable products that they understand the data around. And really, those products are focused mostly around the heavy mechanical, electrical, and plumbing services products, and also the structural building applications are moving fastest, especially in concrete and steel, where much of the embodied carbon lies. And so we want to be able to understand that from a cost structure and also an embodied carbon numbers, because that's really important to our customers. And really, it's not just the productization of the physical piece part, it's the productization of the data. And as Andrew Anagnost, our CEO, said a couple of years ago, there's so much uncertainty that is plaguing our construction industry that really can be addressed by bringing manufacturing information to the front of the many design phases of, designing a building. And so that terminology of manufacturing informed design is about bridging the gap between designing things and making them. We have to inform the design of products with their allowable customizations. And we have to do that using tools that only allow for us to design with what is allowed in the variation of manufacturing, so that we can automate fabrication and documentation information of what can be made later. And we want to make sure that we're using the right tool for the right information, and that we can do that and still enable dynamic products, still make intelligent design decisions for both manufacturing and for things like embodied carbon and carbon life cycle, so that we can enable automated outputs and automated, advanced building methodologies, like things like robotics and things like 3D printing. That's really important if we can understand the data associated with those products up front. And in order to do that, that little product that gets designed has to have a data backbone and a data packet associated with it that references that data up front and the specifications that's necessary, so that it can travel across our Autodesk platform services, formerly named Autodesk Forge, and that we can understand those products as we inform design and how we're making it, and then how we're assembling it on site. And so you'll see it's not just starting with design, but it's starting with the operate information of the end user and what's necessary, and then defining the products that would actually inform the design first, not a design that doesn't understand the products that would actually make from the makers. We have to really kind of flip the script, right? So the I in BIM must be informed by the maker first, and then we can assemble the design from those piece parts. and then make those things after the design has been assembled, and then assemble them on site. And that product can actually travel across the Autodesk platform services with that data intact and instrumented for things like digital twin, but so that we can also optimize our factory and on-site workflows in the most efficient manner by using not only our design tools, but our manufacturing tools and our construction tools all on the Autodesk platform, as well as tools of our partners that are the most appropriate tools and that all work within our Autodesk platform services. And I think that's really important to understand as well, because at the end of the day, you truly want to understand how the building is operating from both a descriptive twin to an autonomous acting twin, where we really understand both the information modeling and the manufacturing informed design. We really want to truly understand standardized data structures, but we want to understand enabling a repeatable and scalable process so that every time you build a hospital or a data center, it's not as if we've built that hospital for the first time every time. We want to have a reusable components and kits of parts and understand the performance of those kits of parts and components over and over and improve those kits of parts and components, especially if you're driven by large owners or government entities that want to improve the performance of the buildings for the people that they're serving. And so you've noticed that at AU, we talked about some new names and how we're working on some of our cloud information models to connect them together so that we can actually, show you that, look, as an example, the smartphone is a result of convergence. As I held up my phone before, it's on the Apple platform. And so the Autodesk platform services also has other apps that are built on our platform right now. And we have many partners that actually have built apps on our platform that work seamlessly with our Autodesk products. And I do believe that there will be many more that are built. And I like to say to our customers, maybe you will be the next, Waze, which is a directional capability, or the next Spotify or the next WhatsApp on our Apple platform. So on the next Autodesk platform. So there's lots of apps being built by our customers on the Autodesk platform services now that many of our customers will have access to in the future state. Because it won't be about point-to-point solutions. Those aren't scalable. It will be about how the cloud information models handle source data complexity so that everyone has access to many different kinds of customer files and many different types of applications, not just ours, but others, and that they'll be able to take that data and use it anywhere they want. And it's very important that we all learn how to work together. And that's where I work in the consulting and customer success organization, where we're agnostic to the tools that we're helping customers use. And we're helping them use the entirety of the breadth of the experience of the platform services and working with thought leaders and storytellers like myself for even custom solutions that haven't been built yet that are out of the box. And we can use some of the local knowledge and the teams that you have in Korea and in your region to really help you with the nuance of our partner network there, to provide local insight and understanding for some of the more regional challenges and opportunities that exist there, but still use the experience and the expertise around the globe that will make what you're doing there even more successful. And so I would encourage you to reach out to your local representatives to talk more about how we can work together. And it's important that we get there together because 40% of a building these days is actually transactional waste. And what's worse is that 40% of what's in our landfills is construction waste. And much of that digital waste exponentially is leading to physical waste. And we can stop that if we work together using building information modeling and smart construction techniques. And I would hope that we can all work together to make this a better planet, a more productive planet for everyone that is here. And so I offer our services and my help to you. If I can ever help, please reach out. I'm more than happy to work with any of you at any time to answer any questions. And I thank you for your time today, for the organizers and for Autodesk for allowing me to speak with you all today. I hope you have a wonderful show and thank you very much.